The historic fishing village of Miloli'i, located in South Kona on the island of Hawaii, is the last of its kind here in the Hawaiian Islands. In Miloli'i, you will find more boats than cars. Everywhere you look, it is evident that this tiny community is deeply connected to the ocean. While the land is hot, dry, and mostly barren, the sea is rich with life. For generations upon generations, the people of Miloli'i have utilized their vast ocean knowledge and superior fishing skills to survive.
You know, many people would trade fish for pork, trade fish for vegetables. You know, when they think of Miloli'i, the last fishing village in South Kona, it was a powerful thing.
I mean, down here, like, it's all about fishing, and you know, you don't gotta drive up to the market for ipoke. You can just go catch your own and make your own. Survival, I think. If I had to sum it up in one word, it'd be survival. The ocean is a big part of that.
For us, it embodies a lifestyle that really is no longer enjoyed elsewhere in the state. Here, the kai is so crucial. We depend upon it.
You know, I finished school and I decided that I wanted to fish. I wanted to get back to my roots, my family roots. And I bottom fish, and that, for me, that's a family tradition. My grandfather did that. His brothers did that, and so like when I fish the koas, either the bottom fishing koas, ko'onaga, or ehu, pakapaka, or even the ahi koas, these landmarks that we line up off of, it's the same landmarks that my grandfather used, you know. For me, that's really special.
I lived here in 1952. I got married and moved to Hilo. So I've been away from here for 42 years, but every month I was back here. So I love this place, yeah. And when I retired, I came back here and bought a home over here. And I'm still staying here. I'm 80 years old. 80, yeah. And I'm not going to forget about this village because, you know, it's a wonderful place to stay here. And life down here was really hard. You can go fishing from Monday to Saturday. Fishing, going Paulo, the best way we know how to get a little income coming in here so that we can survive.
Everybody get that hardened look,
Yeah. That's what I noticed too, was the hardness shown on their face. Our faces show expressions of the environment, the stress that we put through.
Life here was often physically and mentally demanding. Long, rigorous days and unrelenting exposure to the elements was common for Miloli'i fishermen. Despite these hardships, this way of life, instilled at a very early age, was cherished by the people who lived here. Life upon the ocean, however, would sometimes end in tragedy. On September 15, 1949, 5 Miloli'i fishermen were lost at sea while on a return trip from Oahu on a newly purchased sampan. The event was devastating for the small, tightly knit community.
You know, this man had great faith to go out in the ocean. None of this equipment, GPS. They were in tune with the stars and with the currents and knowing where to go, because they would go and unload they would go fish, long lining, and take their fish into the Honolulu harbor for auction. Yeah. And they were coming home and disappear.
The sampan that they went to get would have revolutionized fishing in Miloli'i because it was motorized. Up until that point, all the boats here was canoes. And so it would have been the first motorized boat that the fishermen here would have been using. And so the irony, of that was that the boat never made it. Men lost their lives.
For many years, this incident weighed heavily upon the hearts and minds of the families of Miloli'i. One man in particular did not want the incident to be forgotten. Walter Keli'iokekai Paulo, who began fishing in Miloli'i at the age of 7, felt that the memory of those who were lost at sea should be memorialized. An internationally recognized master fisherman, Paulo would hold this vision for decades.
It had always been Walter's dream to have something erected because of the 5 people from this village who had capsized. And that was a great loss because those 5 gentlemen were very noted fishermen in this area.
What brings us to Miloli'i is fulfilling Uncle Walter's dream of having a memorial here for missing fishermen that has been scattered at sea. We met Uncle Walter 10 years ago when we first came down here to reinter Evie, brought back from the Bishop Museum. Well, Uncle Walter's vision was 2 heel posts and a 4x8 sheet of plywood to write names on top. So what we did is we took it a step further. Stone columns. We got a piece of basalt that was polished, donated, and with all the players involved, the vision is a reality.
The generation were sort of doers. He and Erika Anana, it's amazing what they did, what they accomplished with their lives. Whatever was instilled in them from the village, from the kupuna that, they came in contact with, went out into the world and make something out of themselves, even with their limited education.
To me, like Uncle Eddie and Uncle Walter were like major role models that helped shape my Hawaiian perspective on things, about what they cared for, what they were fighting for. And I know it wasn't just me, it was a lot of other young Hawaiians, on Oahu especially, where they were coming to and living at some point in their lives. They really influenced a lot of people, so anything we can do to give back to their memory is a huge thing. Yeah.
Greg Henkel just called, the craftsman, the stone carver that we hired to engrave all the names onto the stone that's going to be the centerpiece of this memorial. And the stone is basalt, blue rock, polished on 2 sides. It's about 1.25 inches thick, and it's about 39 inches wide and 5.5 feet long.
Up until now, my studio wasn't really equipped to handle a piece of stone that weighed. This is, I think, probably about a 500-pound piece of stone, and we figured out that it could be done. I could do it, and I'm just honored to be a part of it.
Hallelujah, gang. Wow.
I hope that, I could have spent more time with my dad, but we were all little, yeah? We were all little when he left my mom. Yeah. And when we was growing up, my uncles and grandma used to talk about my dad. He was the best fisherman, from here. And so as his 4 fishermen, yeah, that he took with him. I'm so happy that my uncle had get a monument. I will take my dad.
They've made it possible though by getting the grant, so we're very, very grateful. And I believe this monument will stand a long time, a very long time, and they can always come back and say, yes, this is the village of Miloli'i.
Because there's no memorial for these people. They all either died at sea or their ashes are spread at sea, so there's no headstone for them. So now they have one.
Nakahala me kalehua e hale ke lehua no ia na kanoi o ka uno ia he ano ine he liane ho I o tahiti mai a tahiti mai no ko a hiti pu me o me ke aloha 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 e, aloha e.
Today, we invite everybody, all the people who work and all the people who donation for make up this monument, and the people who help prepare all the food. So today we make paina for everybody.
Come, e aloha mai o hana. It is time to honor our kupuna. But I would like to ask those assembled here, those who have had a part in bringing this to fruition, in making this dream of Uncle Walter's come true. Would you step forward now and share?
It was just a privilege. I don't know how many years ago it was. 15 years ago, when Uncle Walter Paulo first approached us and asked for help. And he was sharing, on the one hand, he was sharing a dream that he had, that he wanted to have a memorial for Miloli'i people who had lost their lives at sea, as well as those whose ashes are in the ocean. But there was a deeper side to it, and that was that he wanted to engage in an activity that he thought would bring the community closer together, because he was watching it break apart. And you could tell that it was tearing him up. And when he approached us, I was like, I have very good kumus, very good teachers at Lili'uokalani, and the one thing they taught us is never to back down when somebody presents you with a responsibility like that, and to do your best at it, because they wouldn't be asking you if they didn't think you were worthy of doing it. Thanks to QLCC, thanks to others who helped us to do that. When we built the memorial, everybody was here, and it was just like Uncle had envisioned. And so, he's right out here. When we took him out, we made sure we had a perfect view. So Uncle, mahalo for your vision, mahalo for the leadership Mahalo for everything you did, for trusting us that we would carry this out. And you know, with that, mahalo.
To him, the helpers who made this, I was so happy that Uncle always told that he wanted to put my dad on here. And the first time you guys came here, I told you folks that I didn't get to know my dad, but now I think that he's on the planet. I don't want to go out to sea and talk to my dad. He's right here in Miloli'i. And I thank my husband that he's not resident from here. He's from American Samoa, to help this until the end.
Do you know Auntie Pekka never speaks publicly. She is a quiet, unassuming woman. But today she was so overcome with emotion. And for her to see her father's name there, yeah, I saw a change come over her that is exciting. She was proud. And so now I'm hoping our young people will see their family names there. And they, like Auntie Pekka, will feel pride. And that we can use. That will be the door that will open, and maybe they will turn away from the things that have not been productive and positive. And they will start to move down that pathway that really our people have always trod.
No one knows what the future holds for the people of Miloli'i. But thanks to the vision of Uncle Walter Keli'iokekai Paulo, the names of those who have lost their lives upon the ocean shall remain a constant reminder of the sacrifices that have been made. They shall forever memorialize Miloli'i's eternal connection to the sea.
Kala